Hey, good evening, everybody. What a night. Monday Night Football's on. My Buccaneers came through in the end. How about that? Wild game. Baker Mayfield, he's a big player. I really didn't care for him when he played for Oklahoma, but he's grown up. Anyway, I've been a Buccaneers fan since the 70s. That's just how far back I go. Quiet weather out there tonight. We're going to get into it. Ground clutter pattern on the radar. This morning, we had some very heavy rain. It just continued for about 3 hours in the far northwest corner of the state. About 1 to 3 inches of rain there. But since then, not much has happened. We've got the chance for some showers and maybe an isolated thunderstorm tomorrow. One thing you may have noticed, it's warm out there tonight. It's still 77 degrees here in East Limestone. And overall, a mostly clear sky. It's a little hazy out there. This area high pressure is kind of trapped some of this wildfire smoke and all this low-level ozone kind of stuff going on too. We've got two things going on. One is to our east, the other's just to our west and northwest. We've got an area high pressure that's kind of stagnant to the west and an upper level low to the east that's over the Carolinas right now. And you kind of see this slowly backing up. And one of the reasons we didn't have much going on today is because that orange area that's kind of tracking southeast of us now, what's happened is that brought in some drier air and it kind of collapsed. So it brought the dry air from the mid-levels. Now what I think is going to happen is this area low pressure is going to work in tandem with the high pressure out west, and it's going to draw in another round of showers and storms from the north as we go into Tuesday afternoon. So you'll see what I'm talking about when we go hour by hour here in just a second. We got 54 of you on here now. Again, I realize a lot of you probably joined this after the fact that we're live. Tonight, about 64 for the overnight low, just a stray shower. And I think that time for a stray shower is already passed. Close to 90 again tomorrow. It's going to be another hot one tomorrow. Isolated storms in the afternoon, most likely from noon on. Here's 6 in the morning. Not much going on. A very quiet start to the day, not like out in the shoals earlier today, this morning. Here's the noon hour. Isolated showers and thunderstorms. They could fire up anywhere. I think the key here is we'll have more of these developing along I-65 on the corridor. East and west is a possibility. And then as we get later into the afternoon, here's 4 o'clock. Again, isolated showers and thunderstorms. Temperatures near 90. And these will pop up. They'll track due south, and then they're going to fade away as the sun sets. And we'll see another smaller round potentially coming up for Wednesday. I've given that like a 10% chance of rain. Here's your 3-day forecast. 89 tomorrow, 90 Wednesday, then 92 Thursday. Not much changes. If anything, the forecast isn't as hot as it looked. And we were talking flash drought last week. I don't see that happening. There's another front coming in this weekend, and we'll talk about that after the break when we talk about your 10-day forecast. All right, let's talk 10-day forecast. Had someone ask, what's our severe weather threat look like for the fall? Really, it's nearly impossible to try to predict that. We may be going into La Nina, and the only connection with La Nina is usually warmer than normal and more rainfall. And that tends to catch up with us after fall and into spring, so potentially an active severe weather season as far as next I'd say February, March, April, and May. But the fall season's always complicated. It's different because the fall season, if you go back and look at a lot of this, a lot of our storm systems in the fall are tied to a cold front, and it's a late night, overnight, early morning kind of event. A lot of times we get leftovers, so to speak, with these powerful fall cold fronts, and we get a lot of these embedded tornadoes, the EF0, EF1, even EF2 along the frontal boundary. We rarely get, and November 89, November 15th, 1989, that was an exception. That was where we had some supercells ahead of the main line. So it's all about the timing when it comes to these fronts coming in, and we just don't know when they're going to get in here. Typically, our biggest headaches come with these fall cold fronts that come in late evening, and they'll overnight. We'll be staffed overnight through the morning hours. We'll be babysitting the radar basically. But it's nearly impossible to predict that because it's based on the timing of these cold fronts moving through and the number of fronts we have. So here's your 10-day forecast as we think about our fall severe weather season. Fall officially begins a week from today, Monday, and it looks pretty uneventful with a high of 84 degrees, so not too bad. As we get into the weekend, there's a front coming in, and it's almost like a wedge effect, so temperatures are going to be in the mid-80s, I think, by the end of the weekend. And the overnight lows really don't change much because the humidity is coming back. The air mass is going to be a little bit juicier than it usually is behind a cold front. I think this is mainly going to be kind of a wedge event where you get more of an easterly wind, more clouds. So we'll have to watch that. But again, tomorrow a chance for a few isolated thunderstorms, mainly in the afternoon, and a few rogue showers, or very, very isolated storms. For your Wednesday, I'm going to go do radio, and then I'm going to get ready for that 10 o'clock newscast. I will see you guys later. Thanks for tuning in. 9:30, our 48 Weather Extra Monday through Friday.